Knowledge is power, and education has that power to unlock dreams. Today on the show, we look at ways children can still receive education during this lockdown period in South Africa. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Pulem Molebatsi. Lindiwe Matlali is founder of Africa Teen Gigs, an online learning platform that offers education to children from early childhood development all the way to matric free of charge. This platform has also afforded teachers an opportunity to render their services and make an income. Today, we unpack all there is to know about Africa Teen Gigs, and what better way to find out than with its founder, Lindiwe Matlali. Let's see.
South Africa has been in lockdown for just over a month now, and with that came a lot of big changes and adjustments to the country and its systems in place. One particular system is the education system, which mainstream consists of the teacher to be in a classroom with the learners. Many have been forced to think outside the box. One such individual is Lindiwe Matlali, who is not a qualified teacher but saw a need to look for unemployed but qualified teachers to join in on her virtual education program.
I grew up in Mpumalanga in a small town called Belfast. I'm one of 7 kids. I'm the youngest, and we were raised by my grandfather. My parents died when I was young. My dreams when I was young, actually, in primary school, I wanted to be a social worker. High school, I wanted to be a doctor. By the time I graduated, high school, I was going to be an accountant. So it just changed over time, yeah.
Lindiwe earned a BCom degree in Economics and Statistics at the University of Cape Town and went on to obtain a General Management Program certificate in Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the Stanford University. Lindiwe's hunger for better education influenced her to start an initiative that taught school learners to code.
In 2014, I was attending a program overseas, and I was exposed to an 8-year-old girl who had just created an app, and it was a big news in the US at the time. And they then invited that girl to talk about the app and how she learned how to code. And I was so inspired just listening to her, and I started Googling, what programs do we have in South Africa to teach kids how to code. And I found that, at that time, still now, coding was taught only from grade 10 to 12, and it was mainly in affluent schools for obvious reasons, the lack of infrastructure, internet connection, and obviously qualified teachers. And that's really how Africa Teen Gigs was born at that moment, that when I got back home, I'm studying Africa Teen Gigs and I'm going to teach kids how to code. And we started Saturday classes at UNISA. They started with about 60 kids that were coming from Oliven Primary High School in Tembisa. And those kids, we thought we were going to have them for 2 hours, and they refused to leave. I mean, we started at 8, we thought we'll be done by 10, then it became 12, it became 2, they only left at 4 when the guy just said, guys, I really have to go home. So, that was for me. And at that time, we thought we were going to do it just as a outreach only on, Mandela Day or Women's Day. But then from that moment, it became a Saturday program that ended up on, we're working with all UNISA labs, and up to now we've reached over 100,000 kids at that time that we were teaching how to code until last year.
To think she would just go and pursue her dreams, her NGO reached over 30 disadvantaged schools in the previous years.
Africa Teen Gigs is a non-profit, so all the work that we do is free to the parents and to the kids, as well as to the Department of Basic Education. The vision after schools go back, we have a lot of, some of our teachers actually on our platform are unemployed. So we will continue with them and looking to make sure that the project continue afterwards. And there are some of our teachers that actually want to stay on full time. They don't necessarily want to go back to their job, and they want to continue working here because they've learned a lot. And I think with the teachers that we have now, we're also hoping that they will continue to help and in training other teachers on how to teach virtually.
Are you ready to start with a hello song?
Yes!
I think so. Let me ask my host to just unmute it.
Now, with what is happening, lockdown has taught us that we have to be agile and we have to be ready. And hopefully if we can help DBE to also make sure that they have teachers that can adapt and teach in any circumstance. That's really something that we also intend doing and providing free training to teachers to continue, to be equipped to teach even if they have to continue in a platform like this.
Since its inception, Africa Teen Gigs has thus far trained over 110 teachers and has now started their virtual education dream.
After the break, we touch base with public figures who are involved in the Readers Club for learners from grade R all the way to grade 3. We find out all about their involvement. When we come back, let's take a break.
Heroes define their own legacy. Some walk through smoke and flames. Others nurture our future leaders. Some bring order to our lives, bravely keeping us safe and secure. And some take risks and create opportunities. All these legacies started somewhere. Start your own legacy with Lyceum.
There will be a day when COVID-19 is a thing of the past.
Until then, our president has announced a national lockdown to save lives.
Unless you're an essential worker, stay at home. This is to protect you and others.
Stay at home, dulang haye, hlala ekhaya, play still.
Only leave home to seek medical care, go to the bank,
or to buy essential items like groceries or medicine.
You can still keep fit and healthy while at home.
But remember to take care of those who need it.
If you do need to leave home, keep your distance from other people and wash your hands regularly using soap or hand sanitizer. Let's keep each other safe.
If you feel sick, go to your clinic, doctor or hospital, or phone the NICD hotline on 0800 029 999.
We can beat this.
We can beat this.
Count me in.
Count me in.
Count me in.
This epidemic will pass, but it is up to us to determine how long it will last.
Coronavirus spread internationally and has now hit the shores of South Africa. What are the chances that there will be massive spread here at home?
The probability that we will get some local transmission is likely very high.
And if that happens, will the country be ready for that?
In terms of laboratory testing preparedness, we are prepared.
But who's at risk of contracting this illness?
Anyone who's within a very close proximity, and it's generally recognized to be less than a meter, might inhale or breathe in those little droplets that are then expelled by the infected person.
The most important question is, how can we prevent spread of the virus?
Washing hands with soap and water is still the most effective. Hand sanitizers are an option when you can't wash your hands or your hands are not visibly dirty.
Welcome back to the show. For many parents taking the responsibility of teaching their children at home, this can be a daunting prospect. But there are many online resources to make this a bit more easier and fun. Africa Teen Gigs has made this possible for many children here in South Africa. Later on, we find out from the learners, but right now we hear from its founder how this has become a possibility. Let's find out.
Lindiwe Matlali started Africa Teen Gigs back in 2014 after she was inspired by an 8-year-old girl from the US who started her own app. This has since propelled her to look for ways to get learners to be more technology savvy and be empowered in any way possible. Now, with the recent pandemic, Africa Teen Gig initiated the first lockdown digital school, employing about 56 qualified, both employed and unemployed teachers. The lockdown digital school is free for all learners.
This program obviously started after the president announced the lockdown and that kids were no longer going to be going to school. And for us, we saw a need to say, when these kids are at home and now every parent is supposed to be a teacher. I mean, I know I can't teach my kids anything. And I assume it will be very difficult for parents now to try and help their kids to keep up with their schoolwork during this time. And then we started the lockdown e-school. Was actually something that we just on a Saturday, I called people and I said, this is what we want to do, and then on Monday we were online. So we have currently about 56 teachers. They are all qualified teachers that teach. Mainly we're focusing on STEM subjects, math, science, technology subjects, and then we also obviously life sciences is part of that. Then we added English, Afrikaans, and isiZulu. We actually issued a call for teachers, and we use mainly social media. And we ended up with like 9,000 applications, and it only have to select like 56 that are part of our program now. And we also have a reading program. The reading program was really targeted at kids from grade R to 3. And that is a program that DBE has launched since 2015 called the Read to Lead program. And that was really to encourage parents to read with and to their children. And what we did was then ask, celebrities to basically for like 20 minutes a day, it's generally less than that, to read children's books to kids. And kids, obviously it's optional, they could join in and sign up. So we had the likes of Pearl Mudiadi, Dr. DJ Spoo, but we also had Dr. Mlambo Ngoga, for example, Dr. Padi Luhotla,
and the pink paper for circles and the cheeks.
All medium of teaching were exponentially growing daily, with learners logging in from across the country.
It's from grade R to 12, so we run about 56 sessions daily, and that the teachers actually have to go out there and teach. And the kids can join on the sessions live via their either YouTube or currently Microsoft Teams, and up to so far, like we've reached like over 60,000 children that have been, basically a part of our program daily. So that has really been exciting for us, because you can see, the service and the help that the parents are really appreciating, instead of, them having to sit and trying to teach their kids, especially when it comes to math and science. Now they know that there's a teacher, they get homework, they've got, their support as well from the presentation, the lessons that they get from the teachers as well. So yeah, that has been really exciting for us. I mean, we've seen obviously there's a need. I mean, especially for our matriculants. I mean, right now we're speaking to some telecommunication companies, asking them if they can zero rate our program platform so that the kids in disadvantaged communities can be able to access our platform. But starting, we announced yesterday that we've also partnered with Soweto TV and one KZN, that for some of our classes now to be broadcasted there, for that those kids can also be able to access it. But the vision is the project has to go further beyond lockdown. I mean, through our sponsor, Sasol Foundation, there's really that discussion now on how are we going to continue with the program and continue to help matriculants in post-lockdown, either to help them start working and revision for their exams, to prepare. So there's a lot of work that we will continue to do.
This became more inclusive and fun, as both ends of public and private school learners were catered for sufficiently.
A plus 62A. The second pair is 12 plus 6.
Orphaned from a young age and raised by her grandmother, who made money from knitting, Lindiwe is making sure that no African child is left behind without any knowledge.
After the break, Stories Untold talks to parents who are using this e-learning platform as well as students to find out how this has impacted their lives.
We have all come from somewhere, been shaped and molded by our experiences. And I've learned the value of hard work and determination. There have been some highs and a couple of lows. But here I am today, successful, thanks to Ugogo and Damlin.
Across the country, we had thousands of reclaimers.
The lockdown has lived up to its name, closing all doors on everyone, including recyclers.
It has been a tough period for these men and women.
Let's just see what it is that we can do.
We managed to mobilize all of the food parcels.
I have not seen anything as serious as this confronting the entire nation.
A million people contracting the virus around the globe.
The spread really is quite imminent and it is a very concerning situation.
The issue of COVID-19 is a reality.
And they turn them into a joke and trend on social media.
Our condolences to all the families who have lost their loved ones.
Everybody should abide by the laws that the government has stipulated.
South Africa has the highest number of confirmed coronavirus cases in Africa.
After careful consideration of the available evidence, the National Coronavirus Command Council has decided to extend the nationwide lockdown.
These people who are fighting the process, they are expanding the effect of the lockdown, because if we don't contain this within this time, we're going to find that there will be a greater and greater and greater expansion.
Scenes reminiscent of the 1976 uprisings in Soweto, trying to make a quick getaway at the sight of the police. But what began as funny scenes on the streets of the country's biggest township turned serious and deadly very quickly. Driver who tried to make a quick getaway has been cornered with the car chase over and the suspect in the back of the van. More arrests were made.
We are not going to allow people who are going to challenge the authority of the state at the expense of the lives of disciplined citizens of this country.
Traders without permits having their goods confiscated.
We're not stopping people from trading, but they must do it within the confines of the law. The most important is to tell the nation that they should stay at home so that the curve can be flattened and then this COVID-19 situation can actually end.
Welcome back to the show. Indeed, it takes a village to raise a child. Today, we are looking at an online learning platform that offers free education to children. This e-learning platform has also afforded over 110 teachers to earn an income while working from home. Now we find out more from founder of Africa Teen Gigs, Lindiwe Matlali. Let's see.
Lindiwe Matlali is a mother of 3 that has given birth to an initiative that has gone on to helping parents from across the country. Helping everyone from learners and teachers without an ounce of sweat. This is what some of the parents had to say.
So Sophie is in grade 1 at Northlands Primary in Durban. And after the lockdown, she joined Africa Teen Gigs for the free online classes right off the bat when they started earlier on in April. And she's really, really loving it. Sophia is an extrovert and she's loving the connection and the interactivity with the teachers. She's even getting to interact with the classes, the classmates. So that's really great. We're very, very grateful to have the facility. She's got some classes going on with her school currently, as well as with the Africa Teen Geek. So it's giving her a nice, well-rounded exposure to her lessons. So it feels like she's not actually missing out on anything, really, which is really, really good. And also in this period in time, we don't want to inundate them with too much schoolwork. So there's a nice balance. So during the lockdown, she gets to play outside with her baby brother, as well as have her lessons and her homework, which is so fantastic, and we're so very grateful. In fact, we just hope that we have this after the lockdown, because it's a nice added advantage to her current schoolwork that she has. So we're very, very grateful to the founders of Africa Teen Geek. We are exceptionally excited about the fact that she has the opportunity to have the classes during this period. And yeah, Sophie, do you love your online classes?
Yes.
Yes, you do. And what's your favorite part?
My favorite part is Mistia.
And your friends? And what about Bobo Bear and the song?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know the song?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to try singing it for me?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Hello.
Not only educating but also motivating, Stories Untold caught up with teacher Hendrik Makaneta on how he became one of the teachers and also an activist of this initiative.
Good afternoon, my name is Hendrik Makaneta, and I'm one of the teachers who are involved in the Africa Teen Geeks program, which is called the STEM Digital Lockdown School. And now what we do there is we teach learners mathematics, English, as well as science on a daily basis, but also other subjects, especially in grade 12, just to make sure that our learners do not fall behind during this period of lockdown. I work from home, as you can see. I'm at home now. And of course, what we do, we work via Zoom, where we deliver the lessons. And of course, I learned about this program when it was advertised some time back.
This goes to prove that as a country, we are holding hands and doing this together. Balentle is one of the learners.
name is Valentle. This teaching of maths really does help me. I get to catch up on my previous work, and then I learn more at the same time. The teacher explains more. He makes sure that we really understand before he proceeds to another topic. And then he does give us homework, which makes it really feels like we are in classroom.
Lindiwe was named the 86th Commonwealth Point of Light in honor of her exceptional voluntary service providing technology education to young people. And this, of course, was bestowed upon her by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
A lot of the work that we're doing, we're already getting a lot of recognition because we're hosting hackathons, and we started working with the Department of Basic Education to help them to develop the coding and robotics curriculum. And we helped the DBE to actually raise resources from private donors that enabled them, to then develop the coding and robotics curriculum that now is ready. The president announced last year in the State of the Nation and also again this year. And DBE didn't put a cent onto that. It was something that as Africa Teen Geeks, we got the resources and brought those people together to help the department to have the curriculum. So that was, something that I think, I'm assuming that, the embassy here started following our work, and the next thing we were awarded the Point of Light Award for the volunteering work, because obviously Africa Teen Geeks is not, my real full-time job, is what we do voluntarily, and got a company that pays the bills. Africa Teen Geeks feeds the soul.
Earlier On the week, we had a company that reached out to us on Stories Untold, pledging to donate food to the mushrooming squatter camps here in Gauteng. Today, we are out to find out from the company just how much of the donation they are willing to give to this community, and we also find out from the locals how they feel about the hearts of South Africans that have been able to open up to them. Let's go get involved and give back to the community.
During these tough times, most people don't have other people, so we thought we should give back to this community, because in most cases we pause here but we don't know what to do. But now we found the platform to give back.
Mana makulante re a kgeresa mme ha hona mokgwa gore ka fumana tšhelete ntle le hore ebe dikerepe di butswe jwale re rekisa morwalo wa rona mona mo re dulang teng ha re na polane e nngwe eo re ka etsa ntle le mokgereso re na le bana hae beo re ba thusang mme bana bale mo bateng ba utlwile go na le bothata empa mathata a bona ba tlisa ho rona.
If you are at home and are looking to enhance your learning or get started while you're waiting to return to school at a particular phase of the school term, you can get started with e-learning and using platforms such as Africa Teen Gigs. As for moms at home trying to educate their kids, you can try and make it more fun. Do take a break if need be. From myself, Pule Mulabati, and the rest of the team, let's do this same time, same place. Goodbye.